Flowers are something that feature in many of the different projects that we make in woods. And we make flowers in all sorts of different ways. And in this demonstration, what we're going to do is to share some of the different processes that we use. We're going to start off with the more simple flower projects and then proceed onto some of the more elaborate ways that we incorporate flowers into what we make. This first example is very much taking myself back to when I started woodworking. The simple 5-petaled flower was one of the first projects that I used to learn how to do wood carving. But what you can see that we've done so far, we've used our scroll saw to cut out 3 simple 5-petaled flowers in one go. Once you cut out that basic shape, we can then use a variety of fingernail gouges to get extra depth and detail into the design. This is a great beginner's scroll saw and wood carving project that allows you to develop your skills, get a finished product, as you can see in the form of a keyring, and also learn the process of doing wood carving. I would still recommend the 5-petaled flower as the perfect beginner's project. From here, we just step things up, and it is still a simple project where we are marking out and making a rose-shaped fridge magnet in woods. So once more, we go through our preparation. We're using CA glue to stick layers together, allowing us to cut out on the scroll saw more than one at a time. You'll see us using packing tape. This lubricates that blade as we're cutting, making that process a lot easier on the scroll saw. Once more, it's that method of cutting the basic profile on the scroll saw. You will see that we've kept the 2 offcuts. This means we can hold the project in the vise more easily. We then proceed to do all of the stop cuts into the wood using our wood carving chisels and gouges. Take off any sharp edges that are left using the belt sander. Add a fridge magnet to the back using the CA glue. 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, and we've created a simple rose fridge magnet in woods. This next project puts more focus upon the scroll saw. So for those of you who are not as interested in the wood carving and would like to focus more on scroll sawing, this is a perfect project. We're creating a simple outline of a sunflower shape using a process we refer to as line art. This is where the cuts on the scroll saw create the outline image of the design that you want to make. Similarly, with this rose-shaped coaster design, we can use the scroll saw to cut that line art recess out of the design that gives each product its detail that in the previous 2 projects we have managed to achieve by using wood carving chisels and gouges. The next project takes things up to the next level when it comes to intricacy. This is where we're using that simple 5-petaled flower design, but we are creating a candle holder and using that 5-petaled flower as a continuous surround. So once more, we mark out and prepare the project for being made. We make use of different tools, including the pillar drill to cut the holes for doing the pierce work on the scroll saw, and also to cut out a basic profile for the base that will be used to house the candle. The side attachment on the belt sander is the ideal tool for refining the finish and taking off any teeth marks that have been left by the bandsaw. We then go across to our scroll saw, and those holes that have been drilled on the pillar drill now come into use, allowing us to precisely and accurately cut out the waste wood that we don't want between our 5-petal flowers and the heart in the center. The scroll saw is also ideal when it comes to cutting around the outside of each and every one of those 5-petaled flowers. Using the bandsaw and the side attachment on the belt sander together allows us to cut the bottom edge and refine the finish accurately for the back of our candle holder. This project really highlights our main woodworking skills that we make use of because we proceed across to the bench and doing the hand carving. So we've hand carved each and every one of those 5-petaled flowers. We also bevel the edge of the heart, take off any sharp edges that remain, use the Starbond CA glue and the accelerant to stick the back and the base together, and then using 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, we can refine the finish and bring out the colour and character in the grain of the woods. So a slightly more elaborate project, but again, based upon those simple principles of making use of a 5-petaled flower. Now, stepping things up once more, we are making another sunflower, but we will use contrasting coloured pieces of wood to add an additional dimension to the project. So we prepare everything once more, proceed across to the scroll saw and start that process of cutting out the pierce work, followed by the surround of each and every petal. For the outside of this project, we have chosen to use a lighter coloured wood, and because it's a sunflower, the centre, we are using a darker piece of wood, trying to replicate that beautiful contrast that you get in a sunflower. We make use of our Starbond CA glue once more to stick the darker coloured piece of wood inside the lighter coloured piece of wood. We have kept the 2 offcuts from where we cut out on the scroll saw, and these can be used to once more hold the project more easily in the vise. We carve a little bit of depth and detail on each and every one of the petals. We also round off, shape and take off any excess black CA glue from the center of our sunflower. Use a spike that adds little bits of detail to the center of the sunflower. Stick a fridge magnet onto the back of the project. Add those 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, and we bring out the beautiful color, contrast and character in our sunflower. The final demonstration is one that we hold dear because it includes our national emblem. We are creating a daffodil. Once more, we're going to have beautiful contrasts in the color because we're using darker woods for the trumpet and the stem. We're sticking layers together, allowing us to stack cut and be more efficient and produce 2 daffodils at the same time. The scroll saw, as always, is the ideal method that we can use for cutting both internally when it comes to the different parts of the design. So we start out by cutting the trumpets for the 2 daffodils. We use our belt sander to sand and shape to create more of a daffodil trumpet shape. The scroll saw can be used to cut around the outside of each petal and the rough shape of the stem, which can then be taken across to the belt sander, and that shape can be refined further. We continue with cutting out all of the other parts of the design of our daffodil, make use of the belt sander to refine the petals, the stem, all aspects of our daffodil, and then we go back across to the fun part, which is where we put everything together. So use the accelerant on the one part of the wood and the CA glue on the other part of the wood. You'll see we have a piece of paper so we don't make a mess on the workbench. Stick everything together, add 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, and we've created ourselves a pair of daffodils with beautiful contrast and character in the design. Those are just a few examples of some of the different flower projects, designs and ideas that we make here at our family workshop. Let us know in the comments section if you have any questions about those process, and also which one is your favourite. Check out the other videos that we have on our channel. There's loads of information when it comes to woodworking, making gifts in wood, and the process we use for wood carving and scroll sawing. And as always, thank you all for watching.